Hi everyone, this is going to be my instructional video for my R reading group for April 2nd, Thursday. We are so close to the end of our third week of online learning, and I'm just going to quickly go through our email and then we're going to dive right into reading about South Korea. So just quickly looking through, the read aloud today is about Rosie the Riveter, who is a famous symbol of female empowerment and strong women. The learning goals are there for you as like a checklist. We are going to read South Korea, and then we're going to complete the L and the S of the KWL chart. You can do the flag worksheet if you would like to. You don't have to. It's extra credit. And then in this purple, this was sent out as an email yesterday to your parents and to you as well. But here is the project template for the big project that we're going to be doing. You just open this up, make a copy for yourself, and you're going to write about one of the countries that we've read about. You're going to be basically the teacher and tell us about the country. Video instructions are here for you if you'd like to watch them. There's also a link here on how to screencastify, because part of the project is that you either send me a screencastify or you Zoom with me by next Wednesday, April 8th, so that you can present the presentation. It's just so that I can hear you guys talking and you're practicing speaking in English. All right? If you have questions about that, please email me, and let me give you a heads up. We have a Zoom meeting at 2 on Friday for our ESL lesson, but you can also come in Friday morning from 10 to 11:30 because I'm holding office hours. I believe all of your middle school teachers should have to do this. It's just I'm going to literally be sitting on Zoom. If you want to pop in and ask a question, you can. You're not required to. You don't have to come. It's just I'm going to be there if you want to chat, if you have questions. Otherwise, don't worry about it. I'm probably just going to be lesson planning while I'm on there anyway. Okay, so the other thing is obviously the Audible link is here to White Fang and to the other free audiobooks, and the Epic Reading link is here as well, which I'm going to continue to send those out until everybody joins, especially because spring break is coming up, and I want to make sure that everybody has access to these online books. So really quickly, I want to show you with the project. If you go on Barklow under classwork, or it's the first thing on the screen, home instruction, country project directions. All that I just talked about is right here. Review the assignment. You'll see that the video is here for the directions and the template is here for you to make a copy. The rubric is also here for you. So if you want to check that out, this is how I'm going to be grading you based off of how this goes. So definitely make sure you give that a look, because that's one of the first things I do when I'm doing my own projects. So I think you should as well. All right, so let's just dive right into it. So here we have the country of South Korea. Just looking at the map, it's in Asia. I'm gonna really quickly just go through like we've been doing. Now that we're pros at this, just write out what I know so far. This book is by Ryan James. Okay, and so move down. I know South Korea is in Asia. Most people speak Korean. Main religions are Buddhism and Christianity. Seoul. Oops, Seoul wrong. Seoul is the capital. Land. I don't know much about the land. I know history. Korea was once one whole country before it split into communist north and democratic south. These are all just like little history things that I know and I remember from yesterday's preview, but I also just know in general. Yeah, so like that's, it just helps to put down what we know so far. It means that we have less that we have to worry about when we're reading. All right, so yeah. Okay, so where is it? The official name of South Korea is the Republic of Korea. This country in East Asia is slightly smaller than the country of Iceland. South Korea is located on the southern part of the Korean peninsula. Its closest neighbor is North Korea, which is on the northern part of the peninsula. South Korea has water on three sides. The Sea of Japan, called the East Sea by the people in the region, lies in the east, and the Yellow Sea to the west. The East China Sea is located directly south. With more than 9 million people, South Korea's capital, Seoul, is the country's largest city. It's one of the largest cities in the entire world. Seoul is located on the Han River in the northwestern part of the country. Seoul is a modern center of trade and business. It is also an important historic landmark. The downtown area is enclosed by walls built more than 600 years ago. It contains centuries old palaces and royal gardens. Okay, so this little sidebar says a respectful people. Among many South Koreans, showing respect for elders is important. People are expected to stand when an older person enters the room. If shaking hands, the younger person is supposed to wait for the elder to offer a hand. So we might want to put that in for people. They highly respect their elders. I'm also going to put they really care about family and education. I remember that also from the pictures and from our preview. More than 49 million people live in South Korea. Aside from a small number of Chinese and Southeast Asians, most Southern Koreans speak the same language, Korean. Southern Koreans work in many different types of jobs. Many people work in manufacturing, making cars, ships, and other things to sell to other countries. South Korea also has many jobs in computers and related fields. So again, we want to put for people, many people manufacturing or computers. Family is extremely important in Korean society, like we said. Sometimes several generations live together in a single household. Many Southern Koreans respect their older family members by keeping detailed records of their history. They also show respect on holidays with specific foods and ceremonies. Most Koreans see education as the key to success. Children are often excused from chores so they can study. Many sources agree that Korean students are among the best readers in the world. Land, hills, and mountains cover most of South Korea. Only a small part of the land is flat enough for farming. The Tibet Mountains run along the eastern coast. Several other mountain ranges branch off, running roughly east to west. Most of the mountains are less than 1,219 meters tall. The highest peak is Mount Hala, a volcano, at 1,950 meters. South Korea's eastern coastline is fairly straight. However, the rest of the country is broken up by rivers and streams. They form countless waterways and features more than 3,500 small islands. So for land, definitely want to say the land is very hilly and there are many mountains and rivers. Streams and rivers lie Streams and rivers line the lowlands. These waters have some of the highest tides in the world. Near Seoul, the water level varies about 9 meters. That's enough to cover a three-story house built too close to the water. Wow. Most of South Korea's rural population lives in the coastal and inland plains regions. The plains provide fertile farmland for growing food like rice, fruits, and vegetables. South Korea has four seasons. Temperatures average 21 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. In summer, the highs are 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer also brings the rainy season when the country gets more than half of its rainfall each year. During this season, South Korea is sometimes hit by dangerous storms. Heavy flooding is common. Huh, very interesting. I did not know that. So we can put for the land, in the summer, they get a lot of rainfall, which can be dangerous. We also want to put the water levels are very high around the island. History. North and South Korea together are an ancient area with more than 2,000 years of recorded history. People have lived in the area for at least 10,000 years. Its location kept it away from the rest of the world for hundreds of years. The result was a people with a common way of life, language, and political system. Over many centuries, kingdoms rose to take control of the land. Korea was also controlled by China, the Mongolian Empire, and Japan. In 1905, Japan forced Korea to become a Japanese land. 5 years later, Japan made Korea a Japanese colony. Korea remained under Japanese control until Japan's surrender at the end of World War II. The United Nations planned to return Korea to self-government at the end of World War II. During that period, the United States was put in charge of the southern half of the Korean peninsula. A country called the Soviet Union, which was Russia, was put in charge of the northern half. However, the nation's leaders couldn't agree on how to set up Korea's new government. The United Nations ordered democratic elections, which South Korea held. North Korea set up a kind of government that was less free. In 1948, the United Nations officially recognized South Korea's government as the government in North and South Korea. 2 years later, North Korea moved into South Korea to try to bring the divided nation together by force. This started the Korean War, which cost 2.5 million lives and nearly destroyed both countries. The war ended in 1953 with a ceasefire agreement. This left North and South Korea separated by a strip of land 4 kilometers wide. Officially, the two countries are still at war. Although they agreed to a ceasefire, they never agreed to peace. All right, so I definitely want to put all that information in there. So for history, we can say ancient Korea was kept separate for a long time from other countries. We also want to say that after World War II, North Korea and South Korea went to war and are technically still at war today over how their government should be set. That is still true today. That's why we have such a difficult relationship with North Korea, but South Korea we're very close with. And you might even know some military people that have served for the United States. Some of them even go to South Korea and they live in Seoul because they have to patrol that barrier between the two countries because if North Korea were to invade, it would be really bad. All right, so celebrations. Until the mid 20th century, South Korea was primarily a nation of farmers. As a result, many of its important holidays are linked to the moon calendar. New Year's Day, called Solala, is the most important of these festivals. On this holiday, South Koreans celebrate everyone becoming 1 year older with food, gifts, games, and fortune telling. A harvest festival called Chuseok is another important festival. Families visit and clean their relatives' graves and leave food offerings to show their respect. Oh, that really sounds like Dia de los Muertos that they celebrate in Mexico and some other Spanish speaking countries. On a baby's first birthday, the parents place objects in front of the baby and let the baby choose his or her favorite. If the baby picks up a book, he or she will be smart. Picking up money means the baby will be wealthy. Wow, that's really fun. So these are all things that you might want to put in general information. I'm not going to write them, but you should write them down if you're interested. And on your project, this is definitely something that I would include for other information. Food. Korean food is often spicy. Kimchi is a food a little like spicy sauerkraut. Oh, kimchi is so good. And rice are served at nearly every meal. Fish, seaweed, and pounded rice cakes called dak are also important parts of Korean meals. Some South Koreans have an old saying, food is the best medicine. They believe that both health and sickness come from the food they eat. Another old belief is that some foods have mystical powers. For example, sweet red beans and rice porridge are supposed to chase off evil spirits and give long life. It looks so good. Conclusion. Over the centuries, the people of South Korea have grown strong by working hard and showing respect for their families and for each other. This way of life has helped South Korea win wars and stay strong during hard times. South Korea has become a modern world power, a country and people with a bright future. There's the flag and all this information. So, of course, you can add more notes about the food, about the holidays under general information. I am not going to because this video would be a half hour long, but once you're done with that, you definitely want to do the L, what did you learn? And the S, what do you still want to know? So I had some history of the Korean War and just in general about the conflict between North and South Korea, but I find that really interesting that because they are a peninsula, they used to be cut off from the rest of the world, and so they had a very similar culture between all the people that lived there, and the people that lived there were very close. So I find that very interesting to know. I didn't know that about South Korea. I also didn't know about those holidays. I love Korean food, but I don't know much about their holiday culture. They didn't talk anything about religion here, so that's definitely something I would still want to know. And they didn't talk about like pop culture in Korea. Like K-pop is one of the biggest things out there right now, so that's definitely something I would still want to know. But of course, this is what did you learn and what do you still want to know? Make sure that you fill this out so that it reflects how you feel and what you learned in this book. If you can think of anything, that would be really great research for you to do for your project. And make sure that you ask me any questions you have. I will do my best to answer them for you. Um, Let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, look forward to another video tomorrow where we compare the two countries together, and then we will have a lovely weekend. All right, have a good day. Let me know if you need anything. Bye.